Hello, 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 and welcome to today's episode of Her Version. This podcast is dedicated to sharing stories of struggle to triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow, like, and share. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. Let's jump right in. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Her Version. The Her Version platform is built on storytelling and the understanding that many times our greatest learning experiences come from listening to other people's stories. Today, I'm speaking with an amazing woman named LiYing Lim. LiYing is the founder of When Still Waters Speak and is a transformation mentor and divine energy alchemist. LiYing is here today to share her thoughts on the mind, body, and spirit conditioning that is happening all around us, even without us even realizing it. Her journey is one of a suppressed voice, body image issues, and perfectionism. With a career in the fashion industry, she is no stranger to the bombarding thoughts and images that surround the female culture of beauty. She joins us today to share her real thoughts on living on purpose and embracing our authentic power. Welcome, lady. How are you?
Really, really good. How are you, my love?
I am doing fantastic. I so appreciate you. So you're saying that I possibly still have some cognitive dissonance when it comes to body image
Mm.
issues from my past that I haven't looked into? Is that what you're
I
possibly?
wouldn't say cognitive because I feel like you intellectually get it. And this is one of
Yeah.
the things that I often talk about. It's like we intellectually get so many things because you're really like, I don't want to swear, but like a freaking intelligent woman. You get it. And you're really in the whole space of self development. And I see this so much with women. But like, I get a lot of women come to me and say, like, yeah, I get all of that thing, but I still get so triggered by this or that, and I don't understand. That's why I say it all comes back down to your energy, and the energy dissonance is really just imagine it's something that's just like a vibration underneath it all. Your consciousness gets it, and I always say this, like, if you operated solely on your consciousness, everyone will be living in a really happy world because we know what's the right thing to do, right? But it is the subconscious that runs us. The subconscious runs 95% of the show for us. So subconsciously, there's something going on with you that is an interference. I call it an interference. I don't ever want to say it's an obstacle or whatever, because it really is just there for you to become even bigger, even truer, even more authentically you. So I would actually celebrate that. Let's look into that. Let's feel into that and see how that is going to open another door for you to do even bigger things in this world, really.
Yeah. Wow, that's so interesting. I wasn't expecting that to happen like that. I haven't even thought about those things I mean, obviously this one just happened a few months ago, 6 or 8 months ago or something. But, I literally was upset for a couple days and then I just kind of set it down, whatever, never thought
Yeah,
about it
it's
again.
it's the whatever's that kind of
Got
pushes
it.
that down,
Okay.
really feeling. I think this is really something women are.
So is this something of with everything then? So you're saying anything. So like traffic, I don't
Mm,
have this issue, but like traffic is a big one. So I'm really big in the sobriety arena. There's a lot of men within the sobriety community, and they talk a lot about traffic and how traffic is super triggering for them.
mm.
So is that kind of something similar where what you're saying could be related to like anybody listening right now? It doesn't have to be an eating anything. It
Yeah,
could be any trigger and it's related to energy.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. And I think I just want to widen up our scope a little bit. I mean, I know we have a lot of different kind of audience here, but I just want to kind of spark your curiosity, and maybe something about this could change your life today. But I really want you to see yourself as energy. Like you're this speck of light that just started to come in, and you compress yourself into this beautiful body that you're seeing. But make no mistake, your energy is absolutely like this toric field that hits the ground and rises up as a body, but it goes back up and down again. So we are constantly in exchange. We are the universe. We are literally the universe. And so if you just kind of follow my trajectory on that, right? Your everyone's soul purpose, everyone's asking, what's my soul purpose? Soul purpose. But really, everyone's soul purpose is absolutely to continue to unfold into who we really are. And it is that big. It is the fact that you are as big as the universe, you are limitless. And in that sense, I'm going to share that in the sense that if you really say, okay, I am the universe, how does that work, right? So the universe has this way of just it keeps expanding. It's got this universal pulse that keeps going bigger and bigger and bigger. And so in the same way, you can see your life is always about expanding your consciousness. You are going bigger and bigger. But what happens when you get the triggers? What happens when you suddenly have an accident where you say, do you mean that I created that? Do you mean that I created everything in my life, including the part that I got sexually abused, or I got an eating disorder? You mean I created that? I mean, the conversation is so big that I've come. This is my perspective, and this is something that's been handed down to me by really beautiful shamanic masters and teachers. The fact is that the bigger the challenge you faced, the more proof that you are here to do bigger things. It is something you chose. It's a soul contract that you signed. And yes, some people get really freaking triggered by that. And I want you to know that this is something for you to just take on and see how that holds the truth for you. Because to be honest, for me, Sabrina, like to know that really set me free, because now I know that I don't need to depend on anyone else to decide for me who I am, how I'm going to create my life, who's to judge who I am but me, and it really feels so freeing for the very first time. I really, really, really mean it, like with a whole body full of love, full of gratitude for everything that's happened in my life, including things that have fallen apart. It has to fall apart in a way that felt like, I could have said, why did that happen to me? And instead I said, where in the body do I feel that charge? And I'm going to hug it. I'm going to love it, because that is how I will open up even more love in my body and go and do bigger things in my life. And so, yes, even something as small as a traffic issue, really, really, yeah, just feel it. Where is the charge in your body? When you're driving, you can also feel it. Where is it? Okay, hug it, squeeze it, breathe into your belly, bring it into your belly, let it feel the love in your belly, and then just exhale it out. Do it a couple of times and see how that feels. I guarantee you, your mind is going to start to follow that track instead of trying to create more mental stories that are just going to keep you trapped in that smallness of that issue, which is really not an issue. So, yeah, if we can all live like that, I think the world would be a much better place.
Is it a good idea for people to obviously take on what you're saying, but to look into why it's happening?
Mm. So this is something I want you to really, what I usually say to this, and I do get questions like that from my clients, and I want to say 100% from my personal experience, the why always comes after you really embrace that activated part in your body, because now you're actually, just imagine your body has this energy circuit running through, right? And it's like a giant grid in a city, and there are parts of the city that are not lit up, and there are parts of the city that are so lit up, right? Those are the parts that you have been accepted and you love, and you find it's like championing who you really are. But those unlit parts are the parts that you're always going to say, why did that happen to me? And maybe I don't want to look at that. But once you actually breathe and do the breath, we're in the somatic release that really lights up that part where you no longer fear looking at it, you will see the why. You will see why that part was dimmed. You will see why this happened. And it's truly freeing. It's freedom on another level, really.
Wow, that's so interesting. I just feel like even thinking about what you're saying as far as the simplicity of it,
Hmm.
of you chose this,
Hmm.
like if you choose to believe that,
Hmm.
that in itself kind of lightens it quite a bit because it's almost as if you're saying at one point you made a decision and you said, I am strong enough to handle this.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's interesting.
It's I think, I mean, truly what I always say to my clients or just women who are curious about my work, I always say this is ultimately your decision how to live, yes, but also how you want to see it. Because we can come from a perspective where everyone is doing us wrong, which I have been in, by the way. It's another whole level of story where I saw myself as a victim. And just like I was sharing with you about the relationship I had with my mom, I always felt like I was helpless. I had to listen to everything she said. I have to accept her truth. But actually, that's not the case. And when I actually stepped out of that victimhood mentality, as I call it for myself, I really felt like I was free. I could finally make the decision and actually see that I have a choice. I always have a choice. I always have a choice. And I say the same thing to every woman who's curious about the work that I do is that what is your choice? Do you want to rise and do great things? Or do you want to stay in a vibrational level where everything is happening to you and you're helpless, right? And I made a decision that I don't want to live in any other way than to really live fully and play big. So that is my decision. That's what
Awesome.
I do.
So that city analogy that you gave, as far as some parts of the city are darker than other parts, I
Mm,
can totally envision that because I always, when you're in an airplane, like,
yes.
ooh, look at the lights. So are you saying that in a perfect world, that our every area of our life should be lit? There should not be any darkness?
Ooh, interesting. So, one part of my work is that I work with the analogy and the mythology of the dark goddess. What that means is that we work through a three-stage return, ancient remembrance for a woman, where she really comes into a full lit up mode, where she's fully blossoming and really out there, like you say, all lit up and shining her light. And then we will also have an aspect of the cycle that comes back down to a place where she kind of move into the void to see what are the parts that I feel sad about, that I have to grieve and I have to let go, perhaps, or even I have rejected, that I need to look at. And those are the dark parts that we talk of. But I just want to really say this: we only fear the dark because we don't know what is in the dark. But if we can learn to really navigate the darkness in a way where we honor the wisdom that we have in us, and that comes from the work that I do in ceremony, where honestly, Sabrina, I can't even put into words, because we're really working with another realm. Like, we're working with the plant medicine. Yes, I use tea from the ancestral and spiritual lands of tea to use to infuse the ceremony with that gentle guidance. But there's something about a woman who's walking home and receiving her own dark goddess that finally gives her the courage to look at those parts that she thinks is ugly, that she thinks is too dark, the slums, like the slums of the city that she doesn't want to look at. And I'm telling you, if you have that with you, like, you're set for life, because there will be darkness. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there will be times when you will come across another dark patch, but it's all there because now I can move through it. I know it's all there for me to light up. That's it. And that is part of life. That's how I keep unfolding my soul purpose. And that is what it means to live on purpose in your authentic power, because now you're not fearful of the dark. You're going to embrace it, right? I think there's so much power in that, because then, coming back to the first thing that we talked about, the body, when we are able to accept that, we won't be subjected to what the patriarchy thinks is beauty. We won't be subjected to suppression. We won't be told that, oh, you're not good enough for this because of how you look or how you sound. I tell you, I used to hate my accent. I hated talking. I hated sharing my voice. I hated my accent. I hated the way I look. I always think that my face was so big. I mean, everything about me, I hate it. And I am just telling you this because I really came from a background of total rejection. Like I didn't want to grow up in this skin color. I didn't want to know anything about my ancestors. But today I'm embracing every part of me, and I'm actually working with my ancestors in a big way as well. And
Wow.
I'm learning every day, and it's so beautiful. It's just so magical when we do that, So yeah, I mean, it's not easy. I'm not saying that, oh, today go and look at something you find really ugly and reject it about you, and then you'll be okay. But really start to just kind of move into that territory. And of course, that is why I created a lush and transformative space, because you have to feel safe enough to do that. You have to be in a really non judgmental space to do that. And when you're held in that way, things happen quicker. So yeah, that's something I wanted to just really want every woman or man to know. It's not impossible, and every one of you with that darkness is here to really light you up. So
So interesting. 100%. Like